Hello, welcome back to Parkitect. We're going to continue working on my 15th scenario, Space Mining Rig 99. So in this video, I'm going to show you the method of how I've built the asteroids and a mining drill and the spaceship that the guests spawn out of. So right here, as you see, I'm just doing regular walls darkened to the darkest black and then just covering up the terrain. Because the idea behind this is that I didn't want to just make a empty map, and when you build a flat ride, the flat ride will go to the lowest elevation possible. So the asteroids out of terrain are kind of your anchor points, and kind of will help you build your flat rides here. You can still build flat rides out in the middle of space if you want to. You just have to lift them up to your desired elevation. But this kind of gives you a grounding point of you can put some flat rides on this asteroid, or you can put some other ones on others. I think you get to play on at least 3 or 4 asteroids. I might add an extra asteroid just in case. But there's 3 that I've constructed and built already. There's one asteroid's going to have a mining facility on board or on top. That's kind of the idea there. So here I'm just going to cover up the fences that kind of dictate the play area for the asteroid in rock. And those rocks you cannot destroy, those will be unbreakable. But everything else, if you can see on the floor, I've already started some of the building rights. So the building rights will be in space only, and that will basically eliminate supports and also just get rid of the fences, because fences kind of destroy the illusion. And then doing stars all over the side of the black walls, or the side of the space. So on to working on the actual mining drill. And the mining drill was kind of a afterthought after I built this little building next door, this little green one that I will delete in a moment. I needed something like a facility of some sort, because the main building where the depot needs materials to process and then delivered to a spaceship. So we're trying to think of the logistics of what happened. So this mining drill was kind of inspired from Apex Legends, because the new map for Apex Legends has some mining stuff on it, and I like some of the mining drills. So this is kind of inspiration from that. Just kind of build this gigantic drill that kind of goes into a pit. So as I delete the building that I didn't like before, to give this area more of a place to play in. Yeah, it's kind of the idea. The green crystals could be uranium or some type of a material. It could be unobtainium. Hey, we can make this Avatar themed. Not really. No, just throwing out ideas of what the crystals could be. But the idea is that a giant drill is drilling this material. It's being put on barges or some type of transport ship at the main gate of the park, and then kind of go from there. Let me think here. Some of the goals for this map are, I think, 2 coasters at Exhibit 77, get guests of about 950, and sell tickets up to 2,000 tickets. Yeah, something like that. I won't tell you much more about the scenarios goals, because I might change some of it. At the moment of recording this right now, the map is not done. It should be done by this time when this video goes up. Yes, it should be done, because everything else is just grunt work at this point. Because I showed you how I built 1 asteroid, and I had to build 3 other asteroids, and then I had to finish out the space part with stars and some pathways to do the dark color that I wanted. Yeah, the path bug right now, it's really getting bad. I don't know if that's going to get fixed in the next patch. I hope it does, because I have to go in and kind of fix up the pathways, and it's kind of annoying, but pathways shouldn't be disappearing. It shouldn't matter how many pathways I put down in a map, they shouldn't be disappearing. So, regardless. Here, continuing with the massive mining drill that's supposed to sit out here in space. Trying out some different things with the catwalks, or these supports. Didn't really like how they were jetting out from the main towers. And I wanted to do some platforming stuff, but the platforms kind of got a little messy. So it was just better to keep them near the towers, and then added platforms on top. Actually, I think I get rid of those. I think I do, because as you build, the creation evolves in different places and things like that. So I was just kind of trying to keep up with a industrial factory with a lot of yellow and gray, because yellow is your caution, stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. I like this map so far. It's a pretty ambitious, detailed map that I wanted to work on for a while. I've been toiling with it for at least a year and a half. Or, yeah, maybe a year and a half. I've been toiling with it. So here comes the drill part. I found some pretty cool techniques with the gear pieces from the steampunk set. So if you pause time, you'll see in a second. After I do some like detailing of, I don't know what you can call those tanks of nitrogen or something, gears, things like that. I wanted to make sure the drill was spinning, because a standing drill doesn't look cool. I could have just left it like this and then it would have been like, oh, okay, I've been done. But you know me, I want detail. So I paused the game here. I used the, I'm not sure half thing, but as you can see, because it's paused, for some reason it plops it down in a different angle or a different position, and it just looks cool. And then when I unpaused it, it looks like a drill. It looks like some type of drill going on, and I think that's a really cool effect. And it really like sells the point up. Here's a drill. We're drilling for materials, and this is a mining facility. This is like a really cool effect. So try to pause the game once in a while. The moving objects kind of act funny, and it's actually a good way to take advantage of that thing. Trying out some dust or smoke for the asteroid because it's drilling. The fog doesn't work, but the smoke is better because it looks like it's coming off from the drill point, because as you look at drills on YouTube or something, dust kind of flies everywhere. So using the smoke effect and coloring it brown makes it look like dust is flying everywhere. Now on to building. Well, I did some rock detailing because it has to be some type of facility or mining up some material. On top of the drill, I needed some like nitrogen tanks or some type of fuel tanks on top, where this is what powers the drill, and then it kind of just goes from there. It looks like a drill. It looks like it detaches from the ground because of the 4 points. I would have liked it to make it a 3-point because it would have made it more unique, but again, with Parkitect's grid, it was kind of hard to do that. I don't know, I've been experimenting with how to like make creations a little bit more unique by not following the grid so much, but again, kind of have to follow the grid. It's kind of part of the game's DNA. So adding some more details. Again, detail work is the fun part sometimes, and sometimes also the tedious part of a build, because I've done detail work on a lot of things so many times that I get to the point where I don't want to add the detail, but I know I want to. So it's kind of like a struggle of trying to figure out where I want to put things and how I want it to look without losing strength of building it. And then here I'm going to add some warehouse, add a warehouse to the drill, because I felt the drill was kind of weird by itself. It needed a building to accompany it, so I built just a very simple, I don't know, space-looking quick structure. So the structure was built on site quickly out of materials or something, and this is probably where they do inventory of the things they're gathering, and then they dispatch that to the mining facility on the other side of the asteroid field, and then that's where they transport it back to, let's say, Delta 5. Delta 5 is getting the material, because Delta 5 is just made colony base. So, again, this has a tie-in to Delta 5. I should put an Easter egg in this map. I won't tell you what it is, because it's an Easter egg. I need to note that down. Easter egg for this map, Space Mining Rig 99, or SMR for short, as I'm calling it right now. So simple detailing, making it look like a space looking warehouse. I don't know what a warehouse would look like in space, to be honest. Adding antennas and pipes and things, and a pile of pipes on the floor. This is where maybe like small reactors are sitting for power. I don't know. They're like reactor domes or something. They could hold water. I don't know. It looks industrial to me. And then I added some pathways to kind of give it some more structure. You can build on it or build through it. I don't really care. I haven't decided if these are going to be destructible. They might be destructible. I don't know. I also decided to do some lighting to give it like some. We set up a base here with some lights and things like that, and just kind of playing around. Most of this section was inspired by Apex Legends' new map, World's Edge, because it was a mining facility and it looked abandoned, and I like some of the key art style that they chose for it, so I kind of went that angle a little bit. It's nice to pull inspiration from other places in other video games. Just right there, I was trying to do an antenna because I figured that this is off pretty far from the main facility. It needs an antenna for communication. So I just kind of quickly thought, okay, I just need to build a platform to house the giant antenna piece that's in the sci-fi prop section. So just really quickly, just build it, plop it down, and it makes sense that it would have an antenna. On to building the main ship that the guests spawn out of. So this is kind of like, I'm kind of imitating how I built Whisperwind's port with the airship. Kind of the same idea. So it's kind of a little different though, because it's going to be a spaceship of some sort. There was two ways I can go with this. I was going with either a transport barge, so it'd be something with no windows, maybe very boxy, maybe with a lot of engines. Or I could have gone with a person transport. So as I was thinking, as I was working here, I decided ultimately to make it more of a person transport, because it would make more sense, because the guests would come out of it instead of a cargo barge. Because cargo barge would have like no personnel on it, maybe operated by droids or something. But the decision was to make it more of a passenger ship. So I kind of made a very basic shape with roofs, and then cylinders are going to be where my engines are going to sit. It's just kind of making the shape as I go. I already knew that I wanted two engines on the side, like a jet engine, or like my airship that I originally built. Yeah, the airship had engines like that. Yeah, it did. So it kind of like the same idea. The color scheme I needed to go for, I already thought it needed to be white and gray to kind of keep with the industrial look of the main facility and stuff like that. So kind of go for the same idea here. So figuring out the engine ports. Here's the engines. They're not detailed yet because they're just kind of like bare bones. It's okay if they're bare bones for a little bit. Kind of get the shape. Go slowly when doing details like this, like, I don't know, spaceships. Spaceships and vehicles in general are just kind of detail oriented. And repeating patterns is okay because it kind of makes its character of what it is. So I used a lot of shape pieces. No walls were really used. I wanted to just kind of force myself to use pieces that I normally I use shapes all the time, but walls, didn't want to use walls more often. I want to use shapes that kind of give that more unified look, and it kind of blends itself together when shapes are all together. Some detailing on the engines, some piping, and then I use these chimney pieces as like wing pieces or something like that. It's kind of like flanges or something, I don't know. And then just now it's starting to build up the actual size of the ship. So I knew it had to be somewhat giant or somewhat like tall, because it is a passenger barge or passenger ship. So I needed to like kind of make it tall. And it's gonna have some windows. And as I was getting taller, I was like, I needed like here I needed supports for the engine, so I used some of the cylinder pieces here, the circles. It kind of looks cool. And then I knew that like when like fantasy space stuff is like made, usually they go for like a 50s style, like Fallout 4 kind of does a 50s style. So I kind of did that here with this ship too, kind of with the goes into a square into a curve. I think it looks cool. I think it works out for this spaceship because it kind of is. First of all, it's not an industrial. Industrial ships will be more square and angled. A passenger ship will be more curved and organic looking because it's for passengers, supposed to look nice somewhat. So I used also some of the building parts from the sci-fi set because it had windows and it's curved. And I like the idea of the little red stripe on it because it kind of looks like a Union ship or something. I don't know. It just kind of works together. Just detailing, taking it very slow. Like it's not supposed to be like crazy detailed ship like some of my other stuff that I've done before. Like on I did a ship a long time ago in the workshop called Space Frigate Vega, I think it was called. It was very detailed, very large prop. One of the larger props that I've ever built before. So, yeah, ships. Interesting way to build them. Here's the front of the wonderful passenger ship, kind of making it look like a UFO in a way, or like a flying saucer. Just kind of messing around with different pieces and blending them together. Because when you're blending pieces together and experimenting like this, you kind of make new pieces up, and it's actually a really cool way to kind of stretch this game's limits again. That's the idea of doing custom scenarios and kind of breaking the boundaries of what a normal map should be. And that's kind of what I go for when I build a scenario. Speaking of scenarios, I have a couple more scenarios in the works. So I think like numbers. I think this is number 15. I need to double check. It's 15. Yeah, because I did 14. That was Hyperion City. Yeah, I'm planning to get to 20 maps. Let's see if I can get there. I think I can. Building maps are still fun for me. Instead of just building, roller coasters or doing some of the scenarios over again. I'm planning on doing some playthroughs of the new campaign still. I'm gonna jump around. When I feel like I want to build something, I'll just pick a map and go there. This last week I've been doing pirate theming stuff on Batavia Cay. So if you guys want to see Batavia Cay completed as a tour map or something, you can, I don't know, ask for it in the comments section. But I'm still playing on that map, just kind of like get my juices flowing again, because when you go on, if you stick to one theme too long, you kind of like get stagnated and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of like you get yourself, I don't know what's it called, exhausted of imagination when you do something for too long. And so that's why I try to do other games or other things like that. I mean, I work part-time anyway, so it's like I kind of have moments to think about other things while I'm working at something else and things like that. So yeah, just trying to keep up with making creations and building new scenarios for you guys, because yeah, there's already a lot of scenarios out there. There's some other pretty cool ones on the workshop too that are not by me, and those are pretty cool ones too to take a look at. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this here, and you're going to see a small cinematic of the 2 creations I worked on in this video, and the map should be out very soon. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.